Hi guys, welcome to week 2 of our healthy diet and exercise sessions. So today what we're going to be looking at is food labels. Okay, so I know that some of the information regarding food labels, and actually when you pick up a product and try and read them, can be quite hard to understand. So sometimes you're a little bit like, I don't know what that means and what they're doing regarding portion sizes. So each product and each consumer that sells an item in the supermarkets will have a different portion size. So it's really important to turn the product around and have a look at per 100 grams, okay? Because it gives you a better overall feel for the amount of calories, the amount of salt, fat, sugars that are in these products. So we're going to have a little bit of a chat about it. So the traffic light system, which is on the products at the moment, which I think is really, really good. It's just they do it per their portion. So we need to make sure we work it out per 100 grams. So for example, okay, so I buy these from Lidl for my children, okay, sometimes for the pack ups or just for a snack, a yogurt snack. So if you can see at the front, hopefully you can see, that we've got that lovely little traffic light system there. So they are telling me there's 320 grams in this box and it's 4 times 80 grams. Now, this is good. This is actually quite a good product because it's telling me how much is in it per product, so per pouch. So there is 90 calories, okay? And this is per pouch. So if I take them out, and we'll have a little look at the size of the pouch. Okay. Have a quick look. So, not very big. Maybe I'm making it look bigger than it is because I'm quite up close. But actually, if you compare it to, I don't know, my glass, it actually looks quite big on this camera. But you get the feeling that actually it's quite small. It's probably gone in about 10 seconds with my children. So per pouch, we're looking at 2.4 grams of fat, which when I tell you what we're going to be looking for on our little guide, you'll understand. There's 1.6 saturates, okay, so that's what we're looking at in terms of how much fat is in there, and saturates I'll go through in a moment. And sugars is 11.3 grams, and that falls in the amber, okay, which is quite a lot of sugar really. So if you think it is probably lower fat, and that's why it falls into the green, but they put more sugar in for the taste. Okay, so it just gives you a bit of an idea of what we're looking for. So the traffic light system is good. Just check the portion size, because it could be going per pouch and you think, oh yeah, that's great. Wow, there's only 90 calories in that whole box. So it can be quite confusing. Okay, so let's sort of go through what we're going to talk about. So I know you can't speak back to me, but do you read food labels? So it's quite a good question to ask yourself. If you don't, why don't you? Is it just because it's not something you think about, which is absolutely fine, or is it because you find it kind of confusing? Yeah. It's just good to ask yourself, and it's good that, you know, if you do walk around the supermarkets, I know things are very strange now with COVID and they're telling you not to touch things. I understand that. So, you know, it might not be something that you're going to do right now at the moment, but even online, if you're ordering things online and getting a delivery, you should be able to see that product information, the labels, okay? So let's have a little talk about what makes up these food labels. So I actually have one here. Let me just find that for you. Here we go. So this is worked out per 100 grams, okay? I believe that this is on the presentation when you get it, so you should be able to see it. And it maybe isn't very clear here, but you should be able to see it on the presentation. So what we are looking for is food per 100 grams, total fats to be low in the green category, we'd be looking at 3 grams or less. For a medium category, so an amber, we'd be looking at 3 grams to 17.5 grams, which is quite a big distance, isn't it? And if it was high, we would be looking at 17.5 grams or more, and that would be our total fats. Saturated fats, we'd be looking at 1.5 or less for the low. we'd be looking at 1.5 to 5 kilograms for the medium, sorry, grams, not kilograms, and high, we'd be looking at 5 grams or more. Total sugars, we'd be looking at 5 grams or less to be in the green. We'd be looking at 5 grams to 22.5 grams in the medium, and for it to be a high product in the red, we'd be looking at 22.5 or more grams. For our salt, we're looking at 0.3 or less to be in the green category, and the medium will be 0.3 to 1.5 grams, which would be our amber, and the high would be 1.5 grams or more. Okay, so I know that's probably quite confusing, but if you can look at the presentation, it will make more sense. So this is per 100 grams, so this gives you a really good overall idea what's in the product. Okay, so the idea is we would be asking you to look for products that are more in the green and the amber colours. Okay, and you would limit your high, which is your red, to maybe 1 or 2 a day. So unfortunately, your reds are going to be your nice things where they've put lots of sugar in it or they've put lots of fat in it. It might be things like your fish and chips, it might be pastries, it might be desserts, it could be anything. But I'm going to go through the list as well of what makes up this and how they come to that calculation. Okay, so the reason why they choose the total fats, the saturated fats, the sugars and the salts, because they are the things that are likely, if we eat them in abundance, to lead to us gaining weight. Okay, so the fats, all fat has the same amount of calories. Okay, so look to reduce the total fat, not just the saturated fat. So the saturated fats are the things that you find in your quiches, your pasties, your chips, your crisps, your chocolate, yeah, all those really nice tasting high calorie foods. They're your saturated fats. Okay, so we're just going to talk about a little bit about saturated fats and that kind of good versus bad fats. So I've just told you what your saturated fats are. Your unsaturated fats would be the things that you find in your olive oil, your nuts, your fish, your those healthy fats, your butters, obviously looking at those olive oil type ones. The thing with unsaturated and saturated is, yes, they do contain calories. They can be high in calories, but they are better for you. So they will break down easier. They probably will fill you for longer. Okay, and they're just generally better for your health. So that's why you'd be looking at more of getting your fats from those good fat places of your nuts, but it's still keeping the portion control, because, you know, I've had clients before, which is completely understandable, especially if you don't understand a lot about food. And I know a majority of us know this, don't we? It's just actually being able to put it into practice, because it's all about motivation and behaviour change. I had a client, and I've to be honest, this is a very frequent thing that I come across. Well, I've started eating nuts because I know that they're good fats. Yes, you're right, they are. But he was potentially getting through a bag sort of about that size, maybe every day. And it was adding up that those calories, although good fats, was adding up to nearly 1,000 calories per pouch. And if you think about, he's on maybe 2,000 calories a day because he's looking at trying to lose weight, then that's taking up a big chunk. So although they are good, you still have to be very mindful of the portion sizes. Okay, so that's a little bit about our fats. Also sugar. Sugar is as bad as fat. You need to check the ingredients, okay, and see if there's sugar in there, and check the amount that you've got. Check for the natural or the added sugars, okay? I'm going to talk a little bit about sugars in a moment. And as well with your salt, or they call it sodium, opt for your reduced options, okay, if you can. So it's just healthier, better for you, okay? And it can also help with the cravings. So what you find is sometimes that when you're consuming sugar, you want more of it. Or you have salt, you want more of it. So it's kind of trying to help you as well and stop you going on that kind of up and down blood sugar level, craving food, you know, because you crash, you need to be picked up again. So if we can get that lines of more consistent, yeah, and on level, it's easier for you to not just have to fight against the actual chemical imbalance of crashing and coming up. So, on that note, let me talk about sugars. So, did you know that there are 56 different names for sugars? Okay. And here's the list. And this is how it catches you out sometimes. Yeah? Because you might be reading the back of a food label, for example, and go, I have no idea what that is. Yeah? Modified maize starch, natural flavouring, glucose fructose syrup, red beetroot, concentrate, thickener. Yeah? All becomes very complicated. So a lot of them that I've just read out to you in that yoghurt are on this list as a different name for sugars. So there are 56 different names. We have agave nectar, blackstrap molasses, cane sugar, confectionery sugar, date sugar, diastic malt, Florida crystals, golden syrup, icing sugar, the brown sugar. I'm struggling to say that word. Caramel, dietous, fructose, glucose, grape sugar. There's absolutely loads, and it can become very confusing. And actually, sometimes you might not even think that there is sugar in there. Okay, but this as well, I will try and send that through, is a list of all the different sugars that you can find. And what tends to happen is, if you started your day with sugar, so you start, and I'm not just talking about 1 teaspoon of sugar in a cup of tea or a coffee, I'm talking about, say you had a bowl of Frosties, yeah? There is a lot of sugar in a bowl of Frosties, in a bowl of Cocoa Pops. Those kind of cereals are already, that they coat in a sugar. You start your day like that, okay, what tends to happen is you eat your breakfast, and I don't know about most other people, but if I had a breakfast like that, I would be starving again by 10:30, 11, and I'd feel like I need to eat, okay? I'd actually feel genuinely hungry. So you tend to spike, so you go up, so you've got your level of where you should be with your blood sugar levels, you eat a lot of sugar, and you go up above that level. So the only way from up is down, and you're going to start to crash. But you're not going to stop at your level. You're going to go below your level. And then at that level, when you're below there, you need more food. You feel tired. You feel a bit aggravated. You need something else to bring you back up again so that you're up and feeling better. So you won't crave a carrot stick, and you won't crave a chicken fillet or a boiled egg. You will crave more carbohydrates. You will crave more sugar. Potentially, you might crave crisps. You might crave bread. Yeah? You are not going to be craving nice healthy foods. So you're going to eat something, again, to bring you up. So you're going to be down there, you're going to eat something, carbohydrate, bring yourself up again. But the only way again is down. So you're going to spend all day, if you keep doing that, up and down, up and down, up and down, fighting yourself, okay, to feel that you need to eat. And it's going to be things like cakes, it's going to be crisps, it's going to be nice things that you want to, bread, that you crave. So for example, in the morning, if I eat bread, I have toast in the morning. I'm not saying that this happens for everybody, but I'm hungry again by 10:30, 11. So I tend to have I'll have muesli with some Greek yogurt that has protein in and a few, a little bit of fruit, and that will get me to dinner time. I won't need another snack. But if I start with bread or I started with a high sugar cereal, I would be doing that all day long. All I'd want to do is eat. All day long, I'd just be craving the next thing. And it wouldn't be anything good. It would just be crisps. It would be bread. It would be a sandwich. It would be things like that. So just be really aware of the blood sugar levels and how that affects that, especially with the sugars that you have. So to keep those more at bay, we would be looking at your blood sugar levels. We would be looking at protein. We would be looking at vegetables for your fibre, yeah? You would still need, I'm not saying don't eat carbohydrates. You still need carbohydrates, but have the good ones. Have the wholemeal pasta. Have the new potatoes, have a jacket potato, have wholemeal rice, because the wholemeal is the bit where they've not taken the grain out, the natural bit. So actually it sustains you for longer. So you will feel fuller for longer, and it is better for you. Okay, and it's the same with the cereals as well. Change to a high fibre, high wholemeal breakfast. It will sustain you for longer. Porridge is a fantastic one to have. I appreciate a lot of people go to me, I can't just eat it on its own. Fair enough, can't eat it on its own. Put a little bit in, okay? But just start to think about weaning that sugar down, because it is like an addiction. It is an addiction. They say that sugar is more addictive than nicotine. So it is something that if you know you consume a lot of sugar, you may need to think about gently taking that sugar down. So taking a little bit out at a time rather than going, right, I'm not having that anymore, because you will find it really hard and you won't be able to stay it. You will get headaches, you'll feel sick, you'll feel really unwell. So the best way to do is to wean yourself down. Okay, so right, I'm going to stop talking about sugars now. So on my list, let's have a look, see what we've got. Also be careful when you're in the supermarket of these claims that they say, don't they? They say light or light, L-I-T-E, you know. They must be 30% lower than the original brand, okay, to say that they are light, okay, or that they are lower fat. So you just have to be careful of what they're saying the portion size is, okay? So it could be 30% of anything, couldn't it? So if that product, you just have to be really careful and read the back, because sometimes when actually you look at the original product and you look at what they're saying, it isn't really worth changing, because the calories are around about the same, the sugars and the salts are around about the same. It's consumers and marketing are very clever the way they word things. So it's like how they put things out in the supermarket to make you want to get it because you think it's healthier. Yeah, the way they package things, they're very clever. Supermarkets don't care about us. They're not bothered about the health implications of their products and what it might do to us. What they want to do is to sell a product, and they will do anything to do that. So just be aware that the supermarkets are not there to help us. They even lay their supermarkets out in certain ways because they know it makes people go and buy that. You know, your 3 for 2 on your biscuits, you know, your bog off deals, so that things are done on purpose for them to make the most amount of money. They're not bothered how many chocolate biscuits you buy or don't buy. Okay, so low fat. A claim that a food is low in fat may only be made where the product contains no more than 3 grams of fat per 100 grams of solids, or 1.5 grams of fat per 100 ml of liquids. Okay? Reduced fat on a label indicates that the product contains 25% less fat than the original version. Okay? So just be really careful about what, you know, that you're not buying into something that's not, you know, they're just very clever, and you know, once you know that and you start looking at things, they don't expect you to look at things, they just think, yeah, you're going to buy it, and we probably are, unless we have that knowledge. So for one example, let me have a little, in my cupboard, hang on, so I've got a family size Dom here, and in my cupboard I have a Tesco's one. Now obviously the Dom is a lot bigger, it's a family size, and this is a no added sugar. So you instantly see that and you think, healthier, I'm going to grab that, yeah? But actually, when you look at the labels together, I know that obviously the portion size is different, but we're going to be working this out per 100 grams. But you see, this one is worked out 125 grams and this one's 100 grams. So that's where it can become quite confusing. But on here, this one is 42 calories and this one is 50. So there isn't a lot of difference. The fat content is both 0.8, even considering this is a lot bigger. Yeah? The saturates is 0.1 for both jars. Okay? The salt is 0.7. On here it's 0.8, so it's virtually any difference at all. And the sugars is 6.8 on here and is 5.8 on here. So yes, it is a little bit lower in sugar, but actually when you work out the difference in the jar, they're probably about the same. So it's just very clever how they go about doing things. So only until you start reading the back of that label and having a look will you start to see, actually, there isn't that much difference. So for something they're claiming that's probably going to be really, really a lot healthier and a lot different, it's not really any different in calories, is it? Or even the sugars and the salts. So, just something to think about, isn't it? So I hope you're all doing well and you feel motivated, and I'm just going to run through a few little things. So I'm going to do a little bit of a circuit today. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do 10 exercises and we're going to repeat it twice. Now, it's up to you. You could always do it another time if you're really feeling up to it. And you could just rewind it, couldn't you? All I want to do is just have a little bit of a talk about how we can build more activity into your day. Yeah? So you might not want to do this workout all the time, and that's absolutely fine, because it can get boring doing the same thing. And that's why I'm trying to do different ones every week and do something a little bit different. So you could walk up and down the stairs and set yourself a little bit of a challenge if you wanted to. Yeah? Some of these are quite hard, aren't they? Because we're in a global pandemic and it's not that easy, but there are things that you could find to do. You could go for a walk. So you could set yourself a little goal of maybe going around the block, or if it's a bit too cold, I mean, it's absolutely freezing today. But if you're feeling it, try and set yourself a little bit of a goal. It doesn't have to be massive. It doesn't have to be you're going to do 5 miles. It could be I'm going to go around the block and then I might go back out again if I feel like it later and do another one around the block. Or I might do some walking around my house and just get up to 1,000 steps. Completely up to you. Watching the TV. You've got loads of exercises that I've given you. You could be sat there in the break from Coronation Street. You could be doing a little bit of chest pressing, couldn't you? You could be doing some sit to standing. You could be doing a bit of marching, just getting those legs moving. Yeah? And that's about 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes. So if you said to yourself, I'm going to watch my soaps, but between every break, I'm going to keep moving. Yeah? And also it might stop you going into the kitchen and thinking, I might just have a couple of biscuits with my cup of tea. So you say, no, I'm going to do that. And then if I feel like doing it later, then I'll have it. Yeah? So just a few ideas of things that you can do. This is good. This is a bit of resistance training. If you've got your band that you got from the group before, or if not, you've got anything, a couple of tins. So when I'm exercising at the minute, with my groups, I just ask them to take a tin each. So if you don't have a band, we can just do some weights, can't we? Yeah? So there's lots of options there. And do you know what? Not just good for the fact that you're keeping healthy and you're keeping moving, which is one of the best parts about it. It's so good for your mental health, okay? So we know it's so challenging at the minute, being stuck in, and I can't begin to imagine, if you are there and you're on your own at the moment and you are stuck in your house, it must be absolutely horrendous, but you need to do things to help yourself. So get yourself doing a bit of exercising, yeah? Get yourself, if you find your mind starting to do that, get yourself moving, put my video on, anything, just to get you doing, or even choose something else to do a bit of crocheting or your crossword, or just something that try and takes you out of that. There is going to be an end. There is. I know it feels a little bit at the moment like when, okay? But there will be. And we just have to keep holding on and getting on with it, yeah? So we will. And if you need me, I'm here. Please feel free to send me a message, email, you want some advice, you want me to talk through anything, not a problem, okay? I am here. So all the information, all the contact is on the presentation. But I'm holding out. We're going to see each other soon. We'll meet again soon, yeah? And then you'll be back and I'll be telling you to do all those exercises in the hall, yeah? But take care of yourself. Keep this moving, keep this moving, keep this moving, yeah? Don't allow that to take over, okay? But stay safe and I will see you next week, okay?